Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Power Man Podcast. My name is Rory Paquette, and I am, as always, your very humble host. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you guys have a lot of different things going on. Every one of you is taxed for time, probably taxed for money and attention and life and everything else. So, really appreciate you tuning in and giving us just a couple minutes of your time. So, try not to let you down. I am, if you're watching on our video feed, I'm sporting the newest release from Backbone Swag. There it is. Luck favors the bold, baby. That's right. Um, I mean, hey, St. Patrick's Day is upon us, so kind of makes sense. I suppose, hey, why not? Um, good stuff. And, as we get going, of course, we're going to do that with a sip of our preferred beverage. There we go. Beautiful stuff. Deep, dark, rich, bold, beautiful. And as you know, just like my wife, and it's Freedom Hill Coffee, baby. At Freedom Hill Coffee on Instagram. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. I do. They do all the right things for all the right reasons. They brew a mean cup of Joe, and yeah, they support veterans, which is why I support them. So as we get moving, we have had so many DMs. it's I mean, my phone's been blowing up. I had to actually turn off notifications for a little while, um, because it was just ding, 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 ding. I was like, wow, which is great. Love that, and it was all over the last few podcasts and stuff that we've been talking about. So I want to thank every one of you who took the time to send a message of some kind. I posted different links throughout different social media. And so people were kind of catching all three of the last podcasts at the same time. And the plethora of responses we got, it was fantastic. A lot of good conversation, a lot of good folks, coming up with some good points and saying, hey, I mean, I get what you're saying, but what about this? And then engaging in good conversation. So I appreciate that very much. It's the type of thing that keeps me going, keeps me alive. And please keep that coming. I just love it. So you can reach us on Instagram. Easiest way to go at on Instagram at Power of Man Podcast, all one word, at Power of Man Podcast. That's also our call sign on YouTube and on Rumble. On Twitter, which we're trying to grow a little bit here now. I'm still at Rory Paquette, RORYPAQUETTE, but I'm going to change that. Coming up pretty quick. Excuse me. So we're going to keep rocking and rolling. The Zoom update, I think, did go through pretty well. So far, so good. So as long as we have a video post at the end of this, that means it worked. And that means we can resume our interviews because there are a ton of people out there that are just waiting that I can't wait to get to, that I'm dying to interview and get on here on this program. So trust me, there's a lot more coming. We have just a magnificent spring laid out for you guys, and I can't wait to give it to you. So today I want to talk about something that's simple yet missed just a lot, and it came to my attention here recently. I was, leafing through my social media. I found a couple of seminars that I wanted to check out. One of them was on leading by example and how important it was for fathers to, go out of their way and make this effort to lead by example. And as I'm watching it, I mean, I'm not disagreeing with any part of it because, well, we do need to lead by example. But it was the tone of the entire uh, webinar, all right, was condescending. It was sort of looking down your nose at fathers going, none of you guys do this. And you don't lead by example because you're a bunch of deadbeats and, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say that a father didn't write this. And it was a little rough. They had some good points about what you want to do as you are trying to lead by example. Get a little more of that preferred beverage in there. My allergies are still killing me, but we're going to power up and power through. That's how we roll here, Power Man. So, but the whole point to the program was that too many fathers don't lead by example. And I sat there just mulling that over in my head. And it wasn't just the semantics of the phrase, but it was the idea behind it. Gentlemen, we always lead by example, period. There isn't a father out there who has to say, all right, starting now, I'm going to lead by example. You already are in every little thing that you do. Your kids are watching you. They see everything. And it's not just your actions. I mean, they see the way you react. They see, they feel your emotions that you're letting out. They feel your frustrations when they're boiling over. They feel your love when you're showing it to them and to their mother. Um, they see, feel, hear, understand every single little thing going on with you, brother. And no matter how much we might try to hide it, they still see it. And what's, unique and ironic about that is that not only do they see through you hiding it, but they see you hiding it. And they're learning that they should hide it. Kids see all. I mean, it's just it's not even funny when you really get down to it. I did some reflection on my own kids and said, okay, I understand that I've been leading them by example forever. And I started thinking to myself, what have I shown them? What have I shown them that I'm proud of? What have I shown them that I'm not proud of? And I'm ashamed to say that both lists were pretty long. There's a certain level of honesty that comes out in all of us, whether we like it or not, when you have children. And your kids are plugged into you, man. They know what you're fighting and they know how much it's tearing you up. They know when you're sacrificing. They see it and they start to learn it. They get it when they see how you interact with their mom. Kids understand everything, man. So the point to this broadcast that I was, sort of painfully trying to outlast was step up, do the right thing all the time, always know that someone's watching, blah blah blah. But they just really missed half of the equation. And I just got to thinking that so many of us do. So many of us miss that half of the equation. Well, when it comes to sports or when it comes to, taking care of ourselves, maybe it's working out or maybe it's how we eat, maybe it's how we speak. Maybe you don't allow cursing, in your home. Um, whether it's, telling your kids they should read the Bible or they should go to church. Um, not allowing them to do certain things. They're not allowed to drink. They're not allowed to do drugs. They're not allowed to smoke pot. I mean, we tell them all these different things. We lay out the guidelines for their lives. I can't tell you how many times I've imparted on my kids, never give up, never give up. Always go trying, always try something new. Get out there. Hey, it's only hopeless if you walk away from it, blah, blah, blah. But am I living that? Am I literally living that every day? That's a tough question, guys. And it's every little thing. When you wake up in the morning, for instance, are you like, oh, get out of the way. I need my coffee. Oh, God, the heck is wrong with this? Who did this? Are you teaching them grumpy in the morning? Are you teaching them dependence on coffee? Are you teaching them it's okay to verbally abuse everybody when you first wake up? Do you wake up in the morning and you're like, hey, how's it going? It's a beautiful day. Let's get rolling. In that case, are you actually teaching them positivity? Are you teaching them hope? Hope for a new day, good attitudes. When you come home from work and you slouch down in the chair and you crack open the beer and you turn on Netflix, is that what you're teaching them? That's what you do? Think about your lives. Think about them really hard because I did last couple of days since I watched this thing. And almost 53 years on this planet, I've got a lot to look back on. A lot of you guys aren't anywhere near this old yet, and so you don't have quite as many experiences as I do. But when you're looking at what's real and you're looking at what's really happened, you've got this long list to choose from. It does make you take a step back. There's so much. And you could just go down the rabbit hole forever. When we eat out, how do I treat the waiter or waitress? How do I tip? Why do I tip the way that I tip? When they bring the food, if there's something wrong with it, how do I handle that? Do I complain? Do I, toss it back in somebody's face? Do I ask the same manager? Do I just accept the fact that it's not going to be okay and just eat it and just stay unhappy with my meal? I mean, there's so many things where there's not like a clear cut right or wrong. There's not a straight up yes or no. So look at what you're teaching them. Look at how you're leading by example and acknowledge that you are. Guys, leading by example isn't something we have to focus on doing because we're already doing it every minute of every day. What needs our focus is how. How are we leading by example? I had a couple of setbacks recently in a few areas. And my first reaction, I was having a horrible day when this first one happened. The day was already just, ugh. And my reaction inside when this setback occurred was, why not? Of course that had to happen. You've all been there. It was, well, because that's exactly because God has a sense of humor. That's why this happened. God hates me. That's why, you know, really negative, really sarcastic. And it was all in my head. I wasn't even saying these things out loud, but these were the thoughts that I was thinking. And luckily, I heard myself. At the time of the setback, I was alone. And I did say out loud in front of no one because because it has to happen. That has to happen, right? Of course it had to happen because that's what happens to me. And I heard it. Thank God I heard it and no one else was around to hear it. And then when I'm watching this program, I'm thinking about that time and I'm like, man, if anybody else would have been around to hear that, that's me leading by example. The world's all lined up against you. Everything sucks. This is what you should expect. And when I heard it, this alarm went off in my head, like, ding, ding, ding. Hey, brother, don't be pulling your whole life down the drain just because this one thing happened. What's wrong with you? Figuratively slapped myself in the face a couple times, and went, dude, it's a setback. Relax. Everything will be fine. And it was. It's over. It's gone. And at the time, I was ready to just talk bad about everything in my life for a couple minutes because I was just so frustrated and wanted to just spit nails. And that just happens to be one of the times when I caught myself. And I'm watching this program and I'm thinking to myself, how many times have I not caught myself? How many times have I just let that verbal rant fly in any direction, hitting whoever it was going to hit? And I just didn't care at that moment because I was so mad or frustrated or whatever the word is. And that's why I wanted to make this a topic today. I had a prompt. I had a show that I came across that I watched for 30 minutes that, made me think. And although I disagreed with it on its surface, I mean, it did the job. It made me think. And here I am thinking. And I said, I want to do this for my listeners. I want to put this out there and I want to try. I want to give it one shot at making them think. So I can say, brothers, listen, you are leading by example every minute of every day. So be careful where you're leading everybody. Watch what's coming out of your mouth. Watch your body language. Watch your mannerisms, watch the energy that you're putting out into the world because the people that you're leading, they're feeling it. They're getting it, whether you intend for it or not. And I know none of us want that. And you may be totally justified. I know that I feel like I've been totally justified in feeling like, the whole world's coming down around my ears. Lettuce costs $5. It's, if you want to actually eat meat that's, real and isn't plant-based, processed, woke, whatever the hell it is, it's actually going to cost you like $50 for a pound. I mean, I get it. I know how frustrating this world is right now. Anybody who's filled up their tank in the last 2 years knows how frustrating everything is. But is that what we're putting out to our kids? Is that how we want our kids to feel? Is that how we want them to grow up? Thinking and feeling those things. I had a point a few years ago before I figured a lot of things out, before I started rescuing myself with a whole lot of self realization and self work. But I had a point years ago where I was so angry. I was so negative. I was so out of control, with sarcasm and irony and just spit and vinegar that my older son moved out. I was never that way at him, towards him, about him. I loved him more than life itself. Never intended for any of that to be hitting him. But in the time since then, he and I have talked. I've come to an understanding that he was at a point in his life where he was trying to decide things. He wanted to make some moves and he needed good energy. And he didn't feel like he could get that around me. Not because I was directing it at him, but he just could feel it every day. And he's remarked since then about how much I've changed it, and how different things are. But, he loved me. He respected me. He, admired me for as hard as I was working and as much as I was trying to do to save our family after our crash many, many, many years ago. So it was nothing like that. Nothing bad like that. but he literally felt the negativity that I had towards life. And he wanted to change his own polarity. And he did. And I think I kind of knew that was happening when he first moved to a different state, moved to Florida. And he's such a wonderful kid that he never really let me know that while it was going on. It wasn't until afterwards when I did a whole lot of growing and listened to a lot of the right stuff and really, really changed my mindset to where I am now. The regularness of life, the battle, the struggle, the fight, had just gotten to me at one point, and anger had kind of taken over. And it was like my default setting, just to be angry about everything. I'm not proud of it. And I'm not telling you this like, it's something great. I'm telling it to you because I think a lot of you guys probably feel the same way. A lot of you guys either have gone through that or maybe going through it right now, where your depression, your anger, your desperation, your frustration is just at such a level that it has become your default setting. And that is what you're leading by example to the people who are following. And so I want to talk to you about that today. That's the point of today, is to talk to you guys who feel that way. If you're sitting home right now and you're happy go lucky and you're making plenty of money and you don't have a care in the world, you know what? I love you and I pray for you. And I hope that continues for you. Power to you, brother. Most of us, however, I don't think are sitting in that kind of utopian mindset just yet. So I'm talking to the guys who are out there fighting. I'm talking to the ones who are slugging it out every single day and trying their damnedest to keep being a good father and a good husband. And this is not looking down the nose at somebody saying you're doing something wrong. This is, I feel you. Been there. And I just want to maybe wake you up to it because I don't think any of you want to act that way. So, guys, listen to yourselves. Take a minute, take a step back, listen to the talk that's actually coming out of your mouth. Listen to what's being said. Listen to what's being put out into the world. Take a measurement of the energy that you're putting out to everybody else. And ask yourself, is that the example you want to set? And never forget that with every waking moment, every breath we take, every action we perform, we are leading by example. And we have to decide we want that example to be. And I know you can do it. We can all be a little bit better tomorrow than we are today. So give it a thought. Give it a thought because you're worth it. Your family's worth it. That's for damn sure. You know it and I know it. Pay attention to the example you're setting and know that you can do better. I'm going to keep trying to. You got to believe that. Until next time.